Elon Musk slept on the factory floor. Kobe Bryant was in the gym at 4 a.m. for decades. Every person you admire went through a phase you'd call unhealthy. What if this phase is the requirement? Let me say something that goes against everything you've been told. Balance is a lie, at least in the beginning. The people who tell you need to have a work-life balance are either people who already made it and can afford to slow down, or people who never made it because they never went all in. The messy truth nobody wants to admit is this: every person at the top went through a season of obsession, a period where the work consumed them, where they neglected other things, where they were unbalanced by every normal standard. And that season is what created the life they have now. I'm not talking about burning yourself out forever. I'm talking about a strategic phase of intensity that most people are unwilling to enter. Angela Duckworth, the psychologist who wrote Grit, studied elite performers across fields. World-class athletes, spelling bee champions, CEOs. And the one common trait? Passion that bordered on obsession. Not casual interest, not I'll work on it when I have time, consuming relentless focus on one thing. That's the advantage. And today I'm going to make the case that your obsession isn't unhealthy, it's required. So let me give you a case for the obsession. First, understand the math. If you work on something for 1 hour a day, that's 365 hours a year. If you work on something for 8 hours a day, that's 2,920 hours a year. 8 times the progress, 8 times the learning, 8 times the reps. Malcolm Gladwell popularized the 10,000 hour rule. It roughly takes 10,000 hours of deliberate practice to achieve mastery. At 1 hour a day, that's 27 years. At 8 hours a day, that's about 3.5 years. The obsessed person achieves mastery while the balanced person is still warming up. That's not hustle culture propaganda, that's arithmetic. Now here's the psychological piece. When you're obsessed, your brain changes. You start to see connections others miss. You develop a pattern recognition that takes years to build at lower intensity. You become so immersed that creative solutions appear automatically. That's called hyperfocus, and it's a superpower. ADHD researchers have actually studied this. When someone's deeply engaged in something that matters to them, their focus becomes superhuman. They lose track of time, they don't need willpower, the work pulls them in, and that's obsession. It produces results that balanced effort and simply cannot match. Lastly, obsession creates identity. When you're obsessed with something, it becomes who you are. And identity is the most powerful driver of behavior. You don't have to force yourself to work. Working is just what you do. You don't have to motivate yourself. The obsession is the motivation. That's why obsessed people look like they have unlimited discipline. They just don't need it. The obsession does the heavy lifting. If this is landing for you, hit subscribe. I make content for people who want to win, not for people who want permission to stay comfortable. Let's keep going. Now, let me add some nuance. I'm not saying obsess forever. I'm saying that there's seasons for obsession and there's seasons for balance. And most people get the order wrong. They try to balance before they've built anything. They try to optimize their lifestyle before they've created one worth optimizing. They want the freedom without the grind that earns it. Here's how I think of it. Season 1 is the obsession phase. This is where you go all in. Maybe 1 to 5 years depending on what you're building. During this phase, you're unbalanced, you're consumed, you're grinding. You're building the foundation that everything else will sit on. Season 2, optimization phase. Once the foundation's built, you can start to balance. You have resources, systems, you have leverage. Now balance makes sense. Now you can enjoy the fruits without killing the tree. The mistake is trying to live in season 2 when you haven't even done season 1. You want the CEO lifestyle while doing the entry-level work. You want the 4-hour work week while still building. That's not balance, that's avoidance. The people you admire did season 1. And they don't just post about it because it's not glamorous. They post the beach photos and the work smarter, not harder quotes. They don't post the years of obsession that made those possible. Don't compare your season 1 to season 2. So how do you actually obsess without destroying yourself? Here's the framework. Rule 1, pick one thing. Obsession works only if it's focused. You can't be obsessed with 5 things. That's just being scattered. Pick one business, one skill, one project that matters most. Everything else becomes secondary or eliminated. Rule 2, create the container. Obsession without structure becomes chaos. You need boundaries around the obsession. So, what are your working hours? What will you protect no matter what? Maybe sleep, maybe one relationship, maybe your health. The container keeps the obsession sustainable. Rule 3, embrace the tunnel vision. When you're obsessed, you'll miss out on things. Social events, hobbies, random opportunities. That's not a bug, that's a feature. Tunnel vision is how you make progress that would take others 10 years. Accept it, own it, stop apologizing for it. Rule 4, know your exit point. Obsession should have a goal attached to it. What are you building toward? When you hit that milestone, you can recalibrate. But until then, you gotta stay locked in. The exit point keeps obsession from becoming addiction. Still here? Good. You're not looking for easy. Subscribe for more content that tells you the truth instead of what feels good. Let me bring this home. You've been told obsession is unhealthy. You've been told to find balance. You've been told that grinding is toxic. And maybe those things are true later. But right now, if you haven't built anything yet, balance is just a comfortable word for average. The people winning went through a phase you'd call obsessive. They weren't balanced, they weren't moderate, they weren't sustainable by anyone's standards. And that phase is what created everything. So if you feel that pull, that thing inside you that wants you to go all in, don't fight it. It's not a disorder, it's an advantage. The obsessive advantage. Use it, go all in, build the thing, then balance later. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much.